Hello lords and ladies, today I'm going to be going over the SP upgrades in Final Fantasy VII New Threat 2.0. So money mickle max a muckle. Now obviously it does have an explanation here for you. Beat certain bosses, you get upgrades, there's 4 of them throughout the game. And these are the only sources that you can get in the entire game. Now this here you'll notice is on a completely different save file. This is the one I'm doing separate to the LP playthrough that I'm doing. So obviously this is my final upgrade. The final upgrade is beginning of disc 3. So everyone's at 3 out of 4. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at Cloud. And you can see he has a choice. You've got a choice of 5, right? Depending on how you want to build them. Now what you can do is you can check character stats. Now for the sake of this, I've equipped everybody with weapons and armor that aren't given any stat boosts whatsoever. So not inflated. As you can see, my Cloud is... Honestly, I built my Cloud a bit dodgy here. He's a bit all over the place, but mostly strength and vit. Which alongside Dex are probably the 2 most important stats for Cloud. I mean, Dex is good for speed, but there's plenty of equipment that boost his dexterity. I mean, there's 52 there on the Heavens Cloud, for an example. Or, you know, the Ragnarok, which is giving him 70 vit. Even armor-wise, the warrior bangle gives him 30 strength. So it's not that we, you know, are limited, but you do want to, you know, you don't just want to. I mean, you can just pick randomly, I suppose, if you really wanted to, but I like to have some sort of rough build in mind. So what I like for Cloud, because I can get so much dex from elsewhere, is I tend to ignore the ex-soldier. I don't really use Cloud on the magic side. I have 2 other dedicated mages that I tend to run with parties. Possibly 3, depending on how you want to build Cait Sith. But for Cloud, I do like Mercenary, Strength, Vit, and Luck. And we're going through my absolute mountain of items that I am 100% going to have to sort after this, just to make this easier. That's all my guard sources up there. Like I say, this is the only way to get sources in this game. There is no source farming in New Threat. Let's just arrange them to make life easier. When we look at Cloud stats now, you can see his vit and his luck and his strength's gone up a little bit, and that is Cloud's final choice for Cloud. Now, you could just do all of these at the very end of the game and just do all 4 at once, depending on how you want to build them. That is completely and utterly viable. It is most likely what I'm going to do in the playthrough, obviously, which is why I'm making this, rather than showing it off. I will just do all of them on disc 3 and just build the characters out however I want. So, like Barret, for example, if we check Barret's stats, again, Rock a punch and rune armor, so he's not getting any buffs. He's got no materia. Oh, that's magic. So no materia equipped, so you know we're not getting any bonuses. You can see I've got my Barret, so he's got high strength, high vit, high spirit. Unfortunately, his dex sucks. But I've spent the entire part of this game just using Barret as a tank. I want him with that cover material. I want him stepping in front of the enemies. I want him having high physical defense. I want him having high magical defense. So obviously you can go Gunner for strength, vit, spirit, which is what I've been doing. Vigilante for strength, dex, and luck isn't a bad one neither, to be honest with you. Heavy metal, honestly another really good one if you want to build them so you can do a little bit of healing. Techno freak, I really can't see pulling Barret as a mage for some reason. It's not how I see him. And Bomberman with strength, spirit, and luck, which again isn't a bad choice. Now, for these last 15 points here, because the rest of his stats are so high, I am debating on getting them dex, because that'll get his dex up over 60. So for this one, I think I am going to go Vigilante, even though, like I say, the rest I've generally gone Gunner. But just for the dex, for the speed, you know, getting towards the end of the game, I do want the characters to be a little bit faster. So we'll go and give him all of these, and I can just, like, see, I use him as a cover counter tank. That's his entire job. Is cover counter. If you want to use him, see, you could use him as a cover counter magic tank. But I say, look, he's 63 dex now with 91 luck. And I can pad out his Vit and his Spirit with equips and materia. And the next one, Tifa has been my favourite to build. And again, no boosting, no materia. So if you go into the stats, you see my Tifa for some reason has 209 Vit, 162 Spirit and 108 Strength. Which is really, really weird. But also makes sense. Like, I have got written down the stats that the favour. I did forget to mention that Barret favours Strength, Dex and Luck. No, Vit, Strength and Dex, sorry, and Tifa is Strength, Dex and Luck. As you can see, her Luck and her Dex stat are quite high. So the way I've been building Tifa has mostly been martial artist or pugilist. The martial arts, you get the Strength, the Dex and the Spirit, all 15 apiece. The pugilist is 18, 15, 9. Brawler works as well. I do tend to do a lot of Brawler, and that's probably what I'm going to go for here as well. Brawler is quite nice. Sage, if you want her as a magic user, then, you know, by all means, go for it. Monk, I don't like hybrid damage dealers, right? I'm going to say that out now. I'm going to go Brawler for Tifa on this one, just for the... She does numbers with what you might call it, with Death Blow, and the higher you look, higher crit chance, the fastest you can be, you know, the absolute better. So that's my final Tifa there, 109 luck before any equips, and I can make that so much higher. Now, Aerith is... Aerith, I was fully debating going Slum Drunk, right, and just turning Aerith into a physical attacker. But I thought that was a bit silly, same as Oracle. Now, White Mage is a really good one. Magic, Spirit, and Luck, if you want to rely on them. I think it's called a Lucky Dodge to avoid the physical attacks. Or there's Flower Girl, which, again, hybrid. Not really something I enjoy. Geomancer has been a really fun one to give Aerith. I didn't even look at it, show you her stats, but I mean, I've got up to 120 in magic and 111 spirit. Unfortunately, her dex does suffer. So you could chuck some dex in on her. What I tend to do though is I just tend to give her the Spade Plus material from the Gold Saucer. You can buy in these two ones it reopens for, I think it's 2000 GP. I just tend to give her that. Because realistically, all I care about with Aerith, right, is having an insane magic attack. That is purely it. The higher I can get her magic, right, the better. And yes, this is District with Aerith still alive. It is possible in New Threat. Now, I should say, once you go into one of these, you cannot back out, by the way. So we've got Red 13 here again. Hairpin Rune Arms. Now, Red, as you can see, I've built Red on Dex and Magic, which... honestly, I sort of regret a little bit. I wish I built them on Strength instead of Magic. I was planning on using Red as a Magic user and Vincent as a physical user, like a physical attacker, just because of, you know, he gets guns at a 255 hit rate, Death Blow. I was like, right, that'll be champion, but unfortunately, Vincent does lead towards Magic more than Red. Now, Aerith obviously is Magic, Dex, and Vit for her stats, but I decided to go Magic, Spirit, and Vit. Red 13 is either Magic and Strength plus Dex and Vit. So, unfortunately, I made him a Magic user, which I can't really back out of now. By going for... which one did I go for Red all the time? Oh, Sample 13. I kept giving him Sample 13, right, because I wanted him to be that Magic DPS. In hindsight, I kind of wish I'd give him Cosmo Brave, or even Red Mage. Red Mage would have been fantastic. Guard Hound, another great one for him. Now, obviously, you can mix and match these. And I am going to, you know, try and work out what, in my opinion, I think is the best combination to give them for, obviously, the playthrough. But, honestly, it doesn't really matter once you get equipment onto them, which I'll demonstrate with, my favourite team, which is Cloud, Aerith, and Barret, that I've been rocking Cloud Tifa Aerith, sorry, that I've been rocking most of the game with. So unfortunately, to keep this up the way I've been doing it, I am going to have to go Sample 13 for Red again. just to give him that magic attack, which, like I say, I should have went strength for him, really. As that was a mistake on my part, but you know, first time blindness. Thought I'd have a bit mess about. So he's at 121 magic, slightly better than his physical attack. He's got good dex, so he's fast at least, which is one of the reasons I wanted to make him a mage. Like Aerith is a slow mage, Red is a faster mage. Put Red more towards the healing side of things, Aerith more towards the damage. Now, Yuffie's a very fun one. Yuffie's best stats are looks, dex, and strength. If you look at my Yuffie, her look is 107, but her strength and dex aren't that high. But all of Yuffie's, I think I was going Bratty Punk. I did for Yuffie for the strength, the Vit and Spirit, just because you know you're not guaranteed to cover all the time with the cover material. So I did want to make sure she survived, and obviously Spirit for the magic attacks. Magic hurts in this game, especially at the back end of Disc 2. Wait, not even back end, mid Disc 2 to the back end of Disc 2, the enemies do hit quite hard. You could go Guild Bandit. Strength, Vit, and Luck would be actually really good for her. Root-Tie Ninja, if you want to build a magic, then I guess you can. Material Hunter, if you just want to, you know, level the playing field across everything. Flashy Thief could also be another good one. But I have been, like I say, I have been enjoying Bratty Punk. But unfortunately, it has let the dex drop a little bit. I think what you're supposed to do realistically is you are meant to, you know, pick a nice combination depending on what your character needs. And as with all games like this, speed is king. It's just unfortunate that speed is so highly king in this game. So in 121 luck with 107 strength isn't terrible for Yuffie. Especially for Morphin, you know. Get that Conformer on her, get the Morphin. So now we get to the three interesting ones, especially Sid, because you've got, I think it's 3 out of 4 upgrades. No, 2 out of 4 upgrades straight away for Sid and Vincent once you get them, to give them straight away. So, Cait Sith. I did not write down what stats Cait Sith likes. Well, that was a mistake. But if we check her character stats, his character stats, its character stats, you can say that I have built Cait Sith magic damage. That was my original plan with Cait Sith. And looking at this here, you can see I have just been going all in on Materia Tank or Top Cat, depending on what I wanted. Now, you can do Fortune Teller for Strength, Magic, Luck, fair enough. Cait Sith does like the Luck stat. Yeti Pulse, another good one. I mean, they're all good, but for the most part, I have been going Top Cat. Everyone likes a bit TC. And I thought, oh, Aerith, Red, Cait Sith, 3 magic users out of, what, 10 characters? I was like, that's a decent amount. Until you get a little bit further in, I mean, you say there's it's all magic, spirit, luck. The only character I think that I've actually made the hand-on-heart correct choices for when we get to them is Sid. Now, Vincent. Vincent is magic, dex, and Vit. And unfortunately, like I say, I wanted to build him strength, which I did at first. And quite a few, and it was strength, and strength wasn't that high at first, which is weird to think because it's only 71. And I was going. Which one did I go? I think I went Berserker for the first one, and kind of ruined it. I should have went Beastmaster. Quick Draw would be better for the pure strength. Former Turk. Yeah, it's not for me. Same as Horror Agent. I should have been going Beastmaster for the magic, the spirit, and the luck. But you do want some Vit as well, so chucking in a Berserker isn't a bad idea. Now, like I said, this is just, you know, an overview of what the SP system mostly is, right? Which is the only way you're getting any increases, permanent increases to your character stats in this game. Now, my Vincent has a lot of luck. He's got good magic. He could have better magic. Now, the character that I'm that I've built quite well in my opinion is Cid. Right, so Cid likes strength, dex, and vit. As you can see, you know, you've got Shinra Ace here with strength, vit, luck, engineer, strength, vit, spirit, wingman, airman, dragoon, and top gun. And if we look at Cid's stats, I've got my Cid to over 100 without equips on strength, dex, vit, and I've got his luck to 169. His magic sucks and his spirit sucks, but I don't care because I'm not using his magic, and I can revive him if he dies to a magical attack, right? I went all in on this man being fast, hard, and hitting crits. That was purely it. And I'm going to keep that exact same one by going for Shinra Ace. I know what you're thinking, but there's no dex in that, there's no speed in that. Right, he's fast enough as it is. I can get his dexterity stats so much higher through equips and weapons that we've got at this point. So my Cid's final build is that. My Cid is at 185 luck with a 172 attack stat. I mean, still rocking a 152 defense. And that's that. That is all of my... I mean, there is a randomizer toggle. Places the preset upgrade options with 4 randomized sets that are rerolled each time. Only enable the randomizer if you've played NT before and you're interested in adding. So you could do that. But unfortunately, I've already maxed everybody out. So I can't do that. But what I can do is not save here. We can back out and have a look to see what that would look like. But before we do that, I'm going to show you what my average party looks like stats wise. So I'm going to take care of getting them fully equipped, come back and we'll show you what my main party that I've been running looks like for this game, and then we'll have a look at the randomizer feature as well. So I'll take care of that and I'll be right back. Right, so just a quick build, nothing actual concrete in what I would have as a final build here. Obviously Bahamut 0, poison, there's all strength and vitality with HP buffs on Cloud along with the HP plus materia. Obviously steel, morph, death blow, enemy skill, all restore. Enemy skill is swappable 100% on this build for Cloud with a cover. I'll just do that right now, it's going to make absolutely no difference. Aerith, restore all, enemy skill, she's the only one that can deal good magic damage. Magic plus, speed plus, MP plus for that MP. Ice and lightning, because I have fought a lot of enemies weak to lightning and ice. The ice spells just being cheaper. It does come in nice sometimes. Renew, just as an additional revive if needed, as well as MP boosting. Osmo, so she can keep it MP topped up. Octomagic, linked to Comet. Tifa gets Typhoon for the strength, dex and luck. Hades for the strength and magic, even though the magic's not really a necessity. All the abilities on her here are purely just for the buffs like they are on Cloud, except Cloud can semi-use his. Luck plus for the extra luck, steel, morph, death blow, restore all. As you can see here, I can get Cloud to 255 vit, 117 dex, 215 speed, he's got a 255 attack, 255 defense. Aerith 100 vit, 255 magic, 164 spirit, giving her 255 magic attack and 218 magic defense. Unfortunately, her dexterity is low, which kind of sucks, but I can remedy that very easily, and I'll show you how in a second. Tifa, 230 strength, 157 dex, 236 vit, 219 luck, 255 attack, 255 defense, and a 255% chance to hit. And that is before we even get into the equipment. So the Ragnarok giving Cloud 70 vit and 30% crit chance. Aiden Court's giving him 20 strength, Champion Belt's giving him 25 strength, 45 vit. Tifa, Champion Belt as well. Warrior Bangle for strength 30 and confuse proof. God's Hand for 60 vit and an extra 40 luck. Now Aerith can use some of Cid's equipment. If I put the Princess Guard on her, she'd be the same magic stat, but she would get more vit, more spirit, stuff like that. 4th bracelet for more magic. Now the circlet isn't really needed, her stat is high enough. Now, where are my... See there, the sprint shoes. 75 dex and auto haste. Aerith's magic is still at 255 and she's at 146 dexterity with auto haste. That turns Aerith into an absolute shredding, killing machine. Just 8 casting, comment and comment 2. And I haven't even got... I don't even have a GF. I don't even have a summon equipped to her. At this point in time, I could drop the Dex Plus materia and go for something like Neo Bahamut for a nice summon, which also gives dexterity. Now I can go Phoenix if I want more MP and magic defense, Alexander if I wanted more HP and MP, which honestly isn't a bad choice for her. And we're going to a start, she's still at 112 dex with auto haste. This game has... This version of 7 is so much fun to build characters. I love it. Just theory crafting, different character builds. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to back out of the game and I'll come back in and we'll have a look at the randomize option and we'll see what that does as far as the SP upgrades are concerned. So I'll, again, take care of that and I'll be right back. Right, so here we are back at this point where we can look at the randomizer toggle. So, if we enable the randomizer toggle and go to Cloud, Cloud now has, these are his choices. I take 5 strength, 5 magic, 5 spirit, 10 dex. So you still only get, you get 20. So I could say, I don't know. None of these are really very good for Cloud, but it would put a nice spin on it if you have played it again. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these with everybody because that would be silly. And that would be positively stupid. But we will have a look at a few of them that could be interesting. Maybe Aerith. Wow. Aerith got a pretty good one at the top there, to be fair. 10 magic, 5 spirit, 10 luck. Is... honestly isn't terrible. Oh no, that's 10 vit. My bad, 10 vit. This one. 10 magic, 10 spirit, 5 luck. Now that's not terrible as far as Aerith goes, I suppose. Now, if you want to play through this and you know you want a bit more of a harder challenge, I guess this is an option to randomly generate different ones. So you know your stat upgrades aren't always going to be the same. You're not always guaranteed to get something useful. Like Tifa here could get absolutely nothing with decent strength there. Only 5 strengths. The rest spirit and dex in that one. That's got magic, dex and luck. The best one for Tifa is probably one of the bottom 2. Which, you know, at the end of the day, like I say, we don't really care about it. This is just to show off, you know, what it would look like if you wanted to randomly randomize your SP upgrades. But I just thought I'd show off the SP upgrades. I thought I'd rather go over this in a separate episode rather than trying to put it on the end of an episode. Just you know, demonstrate and show off a little bit of what can be done as far as the SP upgrades are concerned. So yes, that is all for today though, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this hasn't been too much of a ramble and a jumble. If there's anything you're unsure about, please feel free to ask in the comments, and I will do my best to try and answer and explain to you. But until next time, stay safe.